WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. Driver's license stations across the state are reopening for the first time in months, but the new system is adding to the frustrations. KEONTE Jackson explains.
The temporary alphabetical system kicked off Monday at driver's license stations. Those waiting glad their last names landed them a first day spot.
His name is C, so I'm thankful for that reason.
That's the good part about it.
But that's about as far as the approval went. Frustration was the name of the game.
Calling for the last couple of months, every other day, pretty much every city in Mississippi. Trying to get my license. Just want to get my license so I can drive legally and stop riding dirty. But I still have to sit out here, stand out here rather, and I wish I had a seat, but we're going to make it work today.
The weather compounding those emotions for most. Even as rain picked up, folks stayed in place.
Didn't expect it to be this long because we was here since 8 o'clock.
Inside, here's how it looked as the department attempts to maintain social distancing. Those taking tests are also being spread out with only half of the computers being used in the testing rooms. Teens needing a permit or wanting to graduate from a permit to a license made up much of the line.
I had to wait until we knew it was going to open again, but I just had my birthday about a month ago, so it wasn't that much longer of a wait.
The Department of Public Safety tweeted these photos of the newly appointed commissioner talking with those waiting in lines and observing the process inside. Governor Tate Reeves again asking the public for their patience with the new system plus the existing backlog.
This is a short-term approach to try to get those who are weeks and weeks and weeks behind the opportunity to catch up.
KEONTE Jackson, WCBI News.
You no longer have the option of going into a station for a license renewal, duplicate, or address change. Those have to be done online. Another sign that the nation is reopening comes from Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump plans to resume campaign rallies in the next 2 weeks. This comes as the president touts himself as a law and order president. CBS's Weijia Zhang has more from the White House.
Hosting law enforcement officers at the White House, President Trump continued bashing Democrats for their calls to shrink the scope of police duties in the aftermath of George Floyd's death, what he calls defunding the police.
There won't be defunding, there won't be dismantling of our police.
It's a line of attack the president is pushing as he remains under fire for last week's forceful removal of peaceful protesters in Lafayette Square. Military leaders are still condemning the move, including former Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Mike Mullen, who said he was sickened by it.
We have a military to fight our enemies, not our own people.
Republican Colin Powell, another former Joint Chiefs chairman, went further.
I think he has been not an effective president. He lies all the time.
And Utah Republican Mitt Romney, a frequent critic of Mr. Trump's, joined a demonstration outside the White House this weekend.
Black Lives Matter.
Today, Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany tried to keep the focus on the economy.
Transition to greatness has officially begun.
But a newly released report showed the U.S. entered a recession in February. And a poll out today shows the president's approval rating is down 7 points. Nationally, he trails Biden by 14, including in the key battleground state of Michigan.
Attorney General Bill Barr is defending the way Lafayette Square was cleared out. In a new interview, he said the administration was responding to 3 days of protests that were so bad, the Secret Service recommended President Trump go to the White House bunker, which directly contradicts the president, who has said no one told him that, and the only reason he went there for a short time during the day was to inspect it. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
Here at home, the topic of changing the state flag has surfaced again amid talks about relations in Mississippi. A growing number of people calling for a new state flag, including Speaker of the House Philip Gunn and Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann. This flag, which bears a Confederate battle emblem, has been on display since the 1800s. Governor Tate Reeves has said if that decision is to be made, he wants it to be left up to the voters. However, some lawmakers have mixed views on who should be in charge of making that decision.
I think that if we voted on it, it gives solidarity to all of us. We all have a part in making that decision, and whatever position you fall on, you can vote your heart at that point.
I think the public gives us, meaning the legislature, the ability to make decisions. And I think a decision like this is on us, that we should go ahead and take our proper leadership role and advocate for a new flag for the state of Mississippi.
A petition at moveon.org to get the banner on the ballot already has over 130,000 signatures. In 2001, when Mississippians voted between the existing 1894 flag and a competing design, over 64% of voters chose to keep the current flag.
Some wet weather around parts of the region this evening. Let's take you up to downtown Tupelo right now. We've had some wet weather recently, and in downtown Columbus, the rain just moving on into the friendly city. Some heavier downpours just to the north of Columbus, north of the Air Force Base near Hamilton, up here in Monroe County. You can see some of those downpours also just to the east of Tupelo now, where we have the darker greens and the yellows and the reds. Nothing severe in this, some gusty breezes at times. And at this point, it looks like the overall threat for any strong thunderstorm activity tonight is quickly approaching zero. Can't rule it out, but right now we're not looking at a lot of crazy activity right now. So mid-70s to low 70s tonight. Rain showers, some thunder. We stay breezy. A little bit warmer tomorrow. Still a chance for a few storms. Look at that. Muggy highs around 90. Your full forecast coming up.
It was last week when we told you about 100 people who began searching for a man family members say was missing. Now, fortunately, he was quickly found safe and sound, but there's a lot that goes into the logistics when it comes to filing a missing persons report. Our Bobby Martinez talks to an area sheriff about the challenges law enforcement faces and the power of social media.
It can be a traumatic time for loved ones filing a missing persons report. Hours can turn to days, days can turn to months, and months can turn to years. And Chickasaw County Sheriff James Myers says there are numerous steps law enforcement must follow to help find that missing person. From missing kids.
A Columbus mother is pleading for the public's help to find her daughter, who's been missing now for 15 days.
To adults.
48-year-old Roger Taylor of Lamar County has not been seen since March.
The end goal for law enforcement is to try and locate them safe and as fast as possible. Myers says detailed information is crucial.
Normally what we do is every case when somebody does call in a missing person, I mean, it's taken very serious. And we just start from the very start. We try to find all their contacts, friends, family members, especially with today's age with multimedia like Facebook and the apps. We find a lot of information out on that.
Myers says social media has played a major part in solving cases.
It's like a three-legged stool, what I call it. I mean, you have the public, you have media, and you have law enforcement. And with all three of those working together, I mean, it just makes it a whole lot easier because the TV and the radio can get the word out there so fast. And especially now with Facebook, every news agency now has a Facebook page. And a lot of folks now, that's how they find out everything's on Facebook. And just like us, we have a web page for our sheriff's department. We put a lot of information on there, and it helps us tremendously.
Myers says when a missing person has dementia or other illnesses, the challenges are different, so they must handle it with caution.
A lot of times we'll call in our search and rescue, which fire departments help us a lot on that. And like I say, there's a lot of training involved in that as far as how to talk to people, because a lot of times you have to, every case is different. You know, some of them get very violent, whereas some of them revert back to being just like a child.
Reporting in Chickasaw County, Bobby Martinez, WCBI News.
The case files in the death of Ricky Ball are going public. That move comes less than 2 weeks after the Attorney General's office announced it was dropping charges against former Columbus police officer Kenyon Boykin. District 16 District Attorney Scott Colomb is offering the public a chance to see the evidence for themselves. It's been nearly 2 weeks since WCBI first reported that Attorney General Lynn Fitch dropped the case against former officer Kenyon Boykin. Boykin was charged with manslaughter in the shooting death of Ricky Ball in 2015.
It was a gut punch because we're in a moment of reckoning around police brutality and African Americans, and to choose this moment to dismiss the case with no explanation, I knew that that was going to really cause a lot of hurt and pain in our community, in our city.
That hurt is being seen across the nation, even here at home, as hundreds gather over the weekend demanding justice. To help soothe the pain, District Attorney Scott Colomb and his office are releasing the evidence that would have played out in a jury trial.
They're going to see a lot of witness statements. They're going to see some videos. of what was going on. They're also going to see some photos, and they're going to see some investigative reports, some autopsy reports.
Out of respect for the family, some things won't be released, such as autopsy photos. The bottom line, Colomb says, is for people to come to their own conclusion of what happened.
The people in Columbus and also across the state, this has got state attention, and that's powerful, because once you're transparent, people can believe in the system again. They know that there is a pursuit of truth that's colorblind.
Truth and transparency. Those are the words Colomb is using and wants to be the takeaway. He knows the community is hurting, but he doesn't want anyone to lose their trust.
I hope that people understand that truth and transparency matters, and that we can start to rebuild trust in our policing and in our criminal justice system.
Now, Colomb says that change is happening. They're being very proactive. He also says that one thing that's expected to be addressed at the town hall meeting tomorrow is use of force policies. All right, we're going to send things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, you've had your eyes on the sky all afternoon, all morning and afternoon.
All day long, yeah. But we got some rainbows here. Always nice to see some rainbows, some color in the wake of some of the activity. Look at that right there. In some instances, it was a double rainbow, and we love to see that when we can. So make sure you download the WCBI News app for the latest weather forecast. Of course, you can share pictures and videos. Your full forecast. Areas of wet weather across our region on this Monday evening. That severe weather threat we've been talking about for a couple of days now really winding down. Not completely zero. If anything, we'll have more of a heavier rain threat in some instances later tonight. A Skycam tour downtown Columbus. We've had a little bit of rain approach the area. The heaviest downpour is now staying just to the north of Columbus. We've had some wet weather in downtown Tupelo. Let's fly down to Louisville, Mississippi, where we've had several rounds of rain today, and we still have a little bit of shower activity in Winston County right now. Not too active right now at Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon, but you still could see a little bit of wet weather as we go forward. This is the last 24 hours. The tropical system made landfall. Now we are still dealing with some of those tropical rain bands here in our area. So from Boonville to just east of Tupelo down into Monroe County, a pretty good downpour there east of Aberdeen, southeast of Amory, and some steadier rain near West Point. And farther south we go, Louisville, look, we have more rain coming back in, and a little bit of thunder and lightning in this down towards I-20. Nothing severe in this, but these little bands, if they sit over a particular place for a while, it could add up as far as rainfall, another quick 1 to 2 plus inches of rain. And we still have some rain back building out into Vicksburg and parts of Louisiana. So all of this is spiraling around. The severe weather threat is low for the rest of tonight. Some heavy rain, yes, and we will stay breezy. We've had some wind gusts today, over 30, still at 30 in some places now. So some showers this evening right now. We'll tend to see a little bit more redevelop in some places tonight. So that's why we still think there could be some heavier rain mixing with some of those breezes. Temperatures stay in the 70s all night long. Now tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, a chance for a few showers. As we go through the afternoon, I think we'll see more breaks develop. So it should be a fairly decent day overall with some pop-up storms possible in the afternoon, highs up to around 90 degrees. Our first alert forecast tonight, we've got Leo playing in the mud, and there are plenty of mud puddles to play in over the next few days before they dry out. We will be drying out, look at that, by Thursday, sunny and in the mid-80s, comfortable air. Look at this. Our comfort index getting better and better going forward. So let me show you your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. We've got some unsettled weather in the near term through Wednesday morning. After that, the sun returns, upper 80s to around 90 by the weekend, lows in the 60s. More of the show after the break.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. June is Cataract Awareness Month. Now, if not treated, cataracts can lead to blindness. We learn more in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dan Bennett, an ophthalmologist on staff at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle, and I'd like to talk to you a minute about cataracts. The question arises often, what are cataracts? A common misconception is that cataracts are a growth over the eye, but in actuality, a cataract is a clouding of the natural lens of the eye that sits behind the iris and the pupil and that affects vision. Cataracts are the most common cause of vision loss in people over the age of 40 and are the principal cause of blindness in the world. Cataracts can be undetectable at first, but later grow to the point of causing symptoms. If left untreated, cataracts can cause visual impairment and can develop into legal blindness. A cataract can cause cloudy, blurry, or double vision. They may fade colors or cause a glare around light sources. Cataracts can also cause poor night vision and frequent changes in optical prescriptions. Whether day or night, cataracts can cause fixed dark spots before the eye. Rarely infants are born with cataracts, and some cataracts are due to certain medications or trauma, but the vast majority of cataracts are related to aging and are very common in older people. By age 80, more than half of all Americans either have a cataract or have had cataract surgery. A cataract can occur in either or both eyes. It cannot spread from one eye to the other. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, and we'll discuss risk factors and signs and symptoms of cataracts.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
This weekend, athletes throughout the state joined together in the fight against racial injustice. More on that next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb.
This weekend, Ole Miss athletics focused on unity. Ole Miss hosted a unity walk on the athletics campus that started on the track and ended on the football practice fields. Members of the department, such as head football coach Lane Kiffin and athletic director Keith Carter, came out to speak against systemic racism and police brutality. Coaches and players wore shirts that read unity, while several carried signs saying Black Lives Matter and silence is not okay.
We're here because police brutality is here. Because systematic oppression is here. All across America, including Mississippi, including right here in Oxford. So my challenge to you is to fight it. Fight for George Floyd, who is the straw that broke Campbell's back.
Over in Starkville, Mississippi State Athletics joined in on the Starkville Stand-Up March. Players and coaches alike walked from Unity Park to the amphitheater on MSU's campus. Guard Robert Woodard donned a black t-shirt that read peace, love, and justice with the hashtag Black Lives Matter, while forward Reggie Perry was seen handing out bottles of water to participants during the presentation of speakers. MSU Athletics across its Twitter platforms reiterated the words, "We stand together." From West Point to Jackson State, linebacker KEONTE Hampton has set himself apart from the pack. Hampton continues to rack up the accolades and looks to continue building on them. WJTV's Samaria Terry reports.
I don't want nobody to take my spot because somebody can be out there working harder than me and I'm not going. I'm very competitive and I take this football stuff very serious. I live and breathe football.
And that's the reason Jackson State linebacker KEONTE Hampton has a catalog of accolades, from SWAC Defensive Player of the Year honors to being named a 2019 Connolly Trophy finalist, totaling 106 tackles and a league-high 69 solo stops.
And the best thing about him is we got 2 more years with him.
Hampton says his drive to be the best on the field emanates from his upbringing in West Point, Mississippi.
It's a small, friendly environment. It's a football town. We take football very serious, very serious. That's all we care about other than mud riding.
The Green Wave is known for winning state championships. Hampton won one his senior season, but going into that year, he only had one offer from a junior college.
I wasn't getting looked at all. Like, I really got my first offer my senior year. It was by East Mississippi.
Until John Hendrick, the then defensive coordinator at Jackson State, showed up at his door.
I believe all those mid-majors messed up. I believe Memphis and Southern Miss and ULL and Monroe, I believe they missed one. He has that chip because he would be playing at all of them. He'd be starting at all of them.
And that chip on his shoulder is why he's already garnered 4 All-American honors. But the laurels aren't important to Hampton.
I'm not too big on that. You know, I like to win. Where I'm from, West Point, we only care about winning. We don't care about accolades at all. It's a team sport, so we just want to win. But it's a blessing to get those things, though.
People wonder why he shows up because he can see it ahead of time. He's got an instinct for playing the game, and I knew that he had that great instinct. I was concerned about his size. The only thing I was concerned about him is when I started recruiting, he was about 5'11", about 190 pounds. I'm blessed because I didn't know he was going to come to college and grow 3 inches.
And he played all 11 games last season for the Tigers, injured.
If we can get a full healthy season out of him, it'll be unbelievable numbers. Because he's just that guy. He's an instinctive, hard-nosed, old-fashioned kind of football player, and I love that about him.
That's it for sports. We'll have more for you when we come back.
Rain has returned to Louisville. Another band of showers moving on through, and this next band stretches from Louisville and it arcs all the way back into Louisiana, and this will pivot back our way. So more rain possible tonight. A few storms possible on our Tuesday. Wednesday morning, can't rule out some rain, but Scott, by the middle of the week, the sun returns.
Thank God. I got to hurry up and get home and walk Moose now.
Get ready. Yep.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.